My name is Jasmine Harvey, Student Engagement Specialist here at Mississippi Public Broadcasting. On behalf of the Mpv Education Department, we would like to welcome you all to Workforce Wednesday. We would love to know who is joining us today, so please use the chat feature to let us know who you are and what organization you represent. You may also use the chat feature to ask any questions. Before I introduce our guest speakers and panelists, I want to give a quick overview of our workforce initiative. In 2018, Mpv received a 2-year grant from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting to create a workforce development initiative. Our initiative, Getting to Work Mississippi, focuses on advancing education and career readiness. We work with partners to assess challenges and opportunities and produce videos focused on career pathways and the essential skills needed to be successful. We highlighted careers in these 5 key industry sectors: energy, manufacturing, healthcare, information technology, and logistics. Through this initiative, we learned not only are students not fully aware of the career paths available to them, but they are also lacking those necessary soft skills to be successful. So we produced a fun soft skills video series addressing the do's and don'ts in the workplace. Also out of the initiative, Workforce Wednesday was born. These meetings are hosted every 3rd Wednesday of each month, and we are glad that you all have joined us today. All the videos and registration for Workforce Wednesday are available on our website at education.mpvonline.org. And don't worry, I will add the website to the chat feature. Now it's time to start our program. Today we have special guests joining us to talk about Mississippi's heartbeat, an inside look at small businesses. We hope that our program will give you insight to those interested in starting a small business and connecting you to helpful resources. Our guest speaker and panelists will give you insight into the business, share success stories, and provide helpful tips to assist new owners or those interested in developing and growing your business. Our program will feature 3 segment discussions that will be led by our moderator, Jermaine Flood. Our guest panelists for today are Mr. Cliff Osborne, franchise owner of Office Evolution. He will discuss the development module of providing office space and small solutions to business owners. Then we will have Mr. Vince Bavernick, owner of Transworld Business Advisors, join in to share his experience as one of the members with a private office at Office Evolution. Next, we will hear from 2 thriving small business owners, Dr. Dejanette Grantham King, President and CEO of Advanced Environmental Consultants Incorporation, and Belinda Stewart, owner of Belinda Stewart Architects. They will provide tips and strategies about owning a business in Mississippi. But first, we will talk to Mr. Mitch Mcdowell, Assistant State Director of Mississippi Small Business Development Center, to give us an insight into the services provided through their Small Business Development Center. At this time, let's welcome our first guest presenter, Mr. Mitch Mcdowell with Mississippi Small Business Development Center.
Good morning. Thank you, Jasmine. And I'd like to thank you for having me on this morning to discuss the Mississippi Small Business Development Center's program today. I believe you have a PowerPoint. All right, thank you. As per our core grant, we are charged with providing Mississippi small businesses and potential small business owners with 3 services: connection, education, and guidance. You can go to the next slide. So what is the Mississippi SBDC, or Small Business Development Centers? We are a statewide network. So we cover all 82 counties, and we have about 20 sites and centers staffed with professional and experienced business counselors who provide the following: connection. So that would be connection to resources inside of the Mississippi SBDC framework and other resources located throughout the state. And those other resources might be, the Mississippi Contract Procurement Center. If you're interested in doing business at the federal, state, or local level, those types of contracts, we connect you with the Contract Procurement Center. There's a Veteran Business Outreach Center. We have Women's Business Centers. There's also Innovate Mississippi, Mississippi Development Authority, and finally SCORE, which is Service Corps of Retired Executives. So we connect you to resources. We also offer education in the form of 40+ on-demand business workshops and webinars that are located on our website, which we will cover here in just a minute. And then we also provide guidance through one-on-one business counseling with our experienced business counselors. And I wanted to cover this because a lot of times people say, okay, you're gonna be working with a business counselor. What is the person's background? So most of our counselors, when they come into our organization, their experience has often been in the past of owning and operating small businesses. And some of our counselors currently own and operate small businesses. A lot of times they have a background in finance. And then finally, we look for people that have experience in marketing, e-commerce, branding, those types of things. Okay, next slide. Just a little bit on the impact. For 2021, we served about 7,500 clients. Contact hours, that's our one-on-one counseling hours, but it was 12,262. If you look at the types of businesses that we serve, 66% of the people that we provided services to were in business. 63% of our clients are women. And of course, that's not surprising. Guys, you know, we have a hard time even asking for directions, much less help with our business model or those types of things. 60% of our clients are minorities and about 10% are veterans. Next slide. Business starts, new business starts. For 2021, we had about 252 new business starts during the year. Okay, next slide. So who are our clients? So we work with people that are looking to start a business that would be pre-venture. We work with startups. Those are people that are going to start a business or have recently started a business. We have kind of in business. Those would be people that maybe this is a hobby or am I moving into actually having a business? And then finally also in business clients. And again, about 66% of our clients are actually in business. Okay, next slide. So services for one-on-one counseling, this is the guidance part. So for somebody that's looking to start a business, we help with business setup, and that's to go through and look at proper business setup. That will be looking at your business structure. You know, should you be a limited liability company, or should you incorporate, or maybe just operate as a sole proprietor? Business licenses and permits, making sure you're properly insured. Open up a business checking account, bookkeeping system, CPA, all of those types of things. So we walk people through that step by step. We have customizable counseling. Counseling is customized based on the specific needs of the clients. We assist with market research, and it's just not pulling the market research, but also utilizing that market research to help make some decisions. Sources of funding. A lot of what we do is people, even if they're in business, you know, access to capital is very important. And then we've already talked about the referrals. Okay, next slide. So this is Business 101 series. Again, we have about 40 workshops that we do that are either live webinars or on demand. Right now, our Business 101 series is on demand, and you just go to our website to register, which we're going to talk about the website here in just a few slides. But we have basically 4 workshops, and these are really primarily for people that are looking to start a business. So we have Think Like an Entrepreneur, which is about opportunity recognition, you know, how to differentiate your business, those types of things. We do Starting a Business First Steps, how to develop a business plan. That's kind of going through writing that narrative. And then the big one, once you get all that done and you write your narrative, as we go through and we do something that's called cash flow projections for your business plan to see if your plan is viable and will make money. And this, what we cover in here is really the same things that we cover in our one-on-one counseling sessions with somebody that is looking to start a business. All right, next slide. We also have specialized services. We have an international trade expert. We can get market research and help you with the analysis, tech commercialization, business resiliency, a little bit on cybersecurity. There's a transactional clinic that can provide assistance. Again, government contracts, and then once again, over 40 on-demand business workshops. Okay, next slide. So, and we have all offices all around the state. So you can see this is kind of our map, and you can see the different centers that are located. And kind of what happens is somebody comes in, and we're going to talk about how they, on the next slide, submitting a request for counseling. And we do that via our website, and kind of what happens from there. But this is how it's broken out. So these are all of our centers. Again, we cover all 82 counties. All right, next slide. Okay, so this is a screenshot of our website, and you can see if you want some assistance for one-on-one counseling, you'll see schedule counseling, that's in red, and you'll click that, and our website is Mississippi.org. We also have the 1-800 number, but what happens is you'll click the link to request assistance or one-on-one counseling, and then that actually comes to me, and believe it or not, I look at all those. And what I do is I go in, I look at, are you in business, not in business? What type of business do you have? And what assistance are you requesting? And then from there, I assign you to the counselor that can provide the best services to you. So we start off kind of geographically looking at the map where you're located, but then based on what specifically you need, then from there, I make that determination, and then I get you assigned to a counselor. And the counselor will typically contact you within 24 to 48 hours to go ahead and schedule your first appointment. And that first appointment could be a phone call, it could be a Zoom meeting, or it could be face-to-face. Okay, next slide. And price for all of our services and counseling, we do not charge. So we like to say that all of our services are prepaid by your federal and state tax dollars. We are powered by the SBA, and basically what that means is that, you know, we get federal funding that flows through the SBA or the Small Business Administration, and then we get matching funds on the state side. So SBA is a key resource partner of ours. And next slide. Other resource partners that we have would be that are funded by the SBA would be the VBOC, that's the Veterans Business Outreach Center. And the Mississippi VBOC actually covers Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. There is SCORE, another resource partner, which is Service Corps of Retired Executives. And then finally, we have the Women's Business Centers, and I believe we have 2 of those located in the state of Mississippi. We do have social media, and everything is at Mississippi Sbdc. And then these are what we would call our funders kind of on the state side. So you can see that, you know, we have the University of Mississippi, Mississippi Development Authority, Southern Mississippi. We have Hines Community College, Jackson State, Mississippi State. Not going to read the whole list, but these are the people that provide the matching funds for our federal dollars on the state side so that we can provide our services at no charge to you. Okay, next slide. All right, that's it. End of slideshow.
Hi, Mr. McDowell. Jermaine Flood here, just with a couple of follow-up questions. Now, when it comes down to how many small businesses are here in the state, do you happen to have a number on that?
I do not have a number, but I know small businesses employ it's the largest employer in the state. And one of the things that we are seeing right now is with, you know, the emergence of technology. Now, I'm in my late 50s, so I think all of this is still new. The younger generation, you know, it's not new to them. But one of the things that we are seeing is that technology really is leveling the playing field with small business and what we consider to be larger businesses. And a lot of what we see are what I call side hustles or the gig economy. So a lot of people, what happens is they come in, and let's say that I'm a school teacher, okay? I teach high school history or whatever it is. Technology really allows me to go ahead and start to do a side hustle or a side gig without taking much financial risk. I can keep my day job. I still have a regular paycheck. I have my retirement. I have my health insurance, but I can go ahead, I can get my big toe in the water, start to launch a small business. And sometimes from there, that small business ends up being much more lucrative and profitable than what I'm making off of my teaching salary. Okay. So we're seeing a lot of startups what are really coming out of that gig economy, and X number of those are going to end up transitioning into, you know, they're going to be growth companies. They're going to start to employ people. And that's where things are at right now. So, as a business counselor, I have a lot of times somebody will come in and they'll have a really, really big idea. And I'm like, okay, let's shrink this thing down so that it's feasible. Number one. Number two, we limit, financially what your exposure is. Go ahead, get your big toe in the water. Let's figure out who your customers are, how you're going to brand your business. Let's get that foundation in place. And then from there, that small business or that kind of that side hustle or that side gig is positioned to grow. And we're starting to see more and more of that as time goes on. So that's actually a really good thing.
Right. So when you were saying as time goes on, can we take it back to the pandemic? Did you see an influx following the pandemic in speaking about what you're talking about when it comes down to, I guess, being on the technology side of it being able to do this as a side hustle?
We did. One of the things that we did was once the pandemic hit, there was a lot of people that were just like, hey, I need to generate some money. I need to make some money. And I'm, of course, with the pandemic, we were all limited in what we could do. So one of the things that we did was we created a workshop that was called 10 Steps to correctly establishing your business in the state of Mississippi. And that was very, very straight to the point. If you're going to be compliant at the federal, state, and local level, these are all the things that you need to do and get in place. And this is the order that you need to do it in. Okay.
Right.
So we did that. Now, the other thing that we did was, we all work for host institutions, which, some of our people are employed by University of Southern Mississippi or Jackson State or Hines Community College or University of Mississippi. We were all sent home. They said, go home and work. Well, the demand for our services absolutely exploded once the pandemic hit. So then what we had to do is we issued everybody cell phones. We got everybody trained on Zoom so that you can go ahead and schedule these Zoom meetings. And actually, once we moved into the pandemic, the number of clients that we were serving increased by about 2.5 times, 250%. So we had to do a very, very quick pivot on it. The other thing that happened within the pandemic was a lot of the requests for counseling that came in or the assistance that people needed. They needed help with the EIDL loans. It was that economic impact disaster loan and the PPP loans. And that changed like every 2 days, the rules and regulations and how you could apply, all of that stuff changed. So we had to stay up to, understand that as it evolved over a period of time, and we were able to do that pretty effectively. So
right, good stuff. Now, final follow-up question: do you have to have an active small business to be a part of the Mississippi Small Business Development Centers, or does the centers help individuals develop their business maybe from the ground up?
We do, from the ground up. We really, what we like is for somebody to come in and, hey, I'm thinking about starting something, and we go through like the 10 steps, make sure they're organized, help them get together a business plan, test that business plan by putting a set of financial projections to it. The next thing is kind of once they've get that portion of it done, they move into the growth phase, which is usually that 2 to 7 year period where you're starting to gain market share, you're getting better at what you do. So hopefully sales are going up and your cost of doing business is going down, so you have a better net profit. And then finally from there, kind of the last phase is a lot of times we help people with that exit strategy. So it's from inception, I've got an idea, all the way to, hey, I've been doing this for 15 or 20 years and I'm ready to, sell my business or pass it on to my kids or whatever the exit strategy is going to be. And on the edge, it is very important, timing of market entry is very, very important. And what's equally important is the time that you exit. And that can be for a number of different reasons. It can just be, hey, I've been doing this for 30 years and I just went through the pandemic and man, I am tired. I don't think that I have the fortitude to go ahead and ramp this thing up one more time. Well, at that point, it may be time to go ahead and put some things in order and go ahead and look to exit the business. So we're from inception all the way through your exit strategy.
Right. A full one-stop free shop. I love it. And I love the passion that you have for the Mississippi Small Business Development Centers. Thank you, Mr. Mcdowell, for that presentation and for being a guest here on Workforce Wednesday with us.
Thank you very much.
We'd like to now transition into our Workforce Wednesday small business discussion. And in this discussion, I'd like to introduce to the discussion Mr. Cliff Osborne. He is the franchise owner of Office Evolution in Flowood. Mr. Osborne, welcome to Workforce Wednesday.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here with us. I hope your day is going good.
It's great so far.
Thank you so much for being here. Also in with us, we have Mr. Vince Vavernek. He is here as well. He is the owner of Transworld Business Advisors. He is an Office Evolution tenant. Welcome to Workforce Wednesday, Mr. Vavernek.
Thank you, Jermaine.
Yes, thank you for being here, both of you. And I just want to go ahead and jump in and we can get started. Now, as it relates to Office Evolution, Mr. Osborne, can you tell us exactly what it is and how does it work?
Yeah, thanks a lot. So Office Evolution is a franchise. My wife Angela and I are co-owners of the franchise, and we're what's known as a flex office provider. And so for the last few years, this service model has been emerging. It grew a lot during the pandemic. And we offer a number of ways for small businesses, entrepreneurs, startups to come have office space here. Anything from co-working, where they use an open space, almost like a coffee shop, but with privacy, to a fully furnished private office, meeting rooms. And, in the same way that, when you go to a hotel, you just stay as long as you need to. People come here and have office space, co-working, or meeting room just for the time they need to. So they can pay for just as much as meets their needs, as opposed to long-term leases in the real estate world.
Right. Now, is there any certain qualifications for a business to join Office Evolution?
Well, I wouldn't say there are qualifications. I'd say we're a good fit for a lot of professionals. We couldn't really accommodate a barber shop or a medical clinic. We wouldn't be able to do that. But for people that need office-based space, we have a wide variety of folks here, from realtors to business brokers, attorneys, accountants, sales folks, healthcare consultants, just quite a wide range.
Right. Well, I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Vavernek. He is actually one of those business owners inside of Office Evolution. Can you tell us a little bit about Transworld Business Advisors and as well as your residency inside of Office Evolution?
Sure, absolutely. So Transworld Business Advisors of Jackson and Oxford, Mississippi. I am the franchise owner, and we are a business brokerage firm. We're the largest business brokerage firm in 16 countries. So just piggybacking on what Mitch said, as far as helping business owners exit, we help business owners sell their business. And then we also work with strategic buyers all over, not just in Mississippi, but all over the country and even globally, that are looking to buy good businesses for sale. And so predominantly we concentrate in business brokerage. We also help in franchise consulting. I represent over 500 franchises for someone looking to start a franchise or buy an existing franchise. And then we also help with franchise development. So someone that might have a business that is very successful, but they don't know how to scale that business to other markets. They can only manage 2 or 3 locations. We help them basically go from an existing business to a franchise. So helping them with legal franchise license agreements, FDDs, the franchise disclosure document, to formation, all the way to developing their royalty strategy. And then after they become a franchise, then we help them market to other markets with our 800 plus Transworld brokers. So that's a little bit of a snapshot. That's the Cliff Notes version, Jermaine. Okay.
That's good, though. That's good. I mean, I love it. When it comes down to being a tenant, how is Mr. Osborne as a landlord? No, I'm playing. But how is he and how is that residency over there? And how were you operating before you had moved in?
No, absolutely. Most business brokers, and I'm just speaking for my profession, a lot of them work out of the trunk of their car. And to me, that's not really professional. So when I was seeking an office space, the first thing I was seeking was a professional environment. I did not really want to be in a warehouse environment. I wanted to be somewhere when a business owner came to meet with me that they knew that I took their business serious. and that I was going to help them and I was going to have them in a professional setting, also very comfortable. So Cliff and Adam and Angela, his wife, are very accommodating, number one. Number two, I was looking for convenience. This location is on Airport Road in front of the Refuge Golf Course. It's close to the airport. It's close to I-20. It's very convenient for my customers if they're coming. We just met with a client from West Texas that flew into Jackson to list their business for sale with us through a referral, because it's all in who you know, right? And who you trust. So it was very convenient for them to get off the airplane, get in a rental car, get an Uber straight over here. Also, where you can see Cliff sitting is one of the conference rooms. We have 2 conference rooms that are available to us as tenants. This is very important to me in my business because I might have an entourage where I need that room to meet with, like where Cliff is. That room can hold up over 20 people and is used quite frequently. You can book online, you can see the schedule, which is awesome. So you don't have to call somebody, wait on somebody to answer the phone. There's a smaller conference room. It's a one-on-one or 5 people or something like that. There's video conferencing, all the technology. So number one, professionalism. Number two, convenience for me, but also the accommodation and the customer service that Cliff and his team give. They have done everything possible to make this a business-friendly environment for me. And through referrals also, they have sent me referrals. So it is a collaborative working environment, not just a co-working environment.
Right. Cliff, I'm just going to call you Cliff now because Mr. Vavernek said it. So, but Cliff, when it comes down to this being an awesome place as a small business owner to be able to come and be a tenant, this is sort of an incubator as well for small businesses. So are there any services you offer as the owner, or do you just rent the spaces out?
Yeah, that's a great question, and thanks for asking. So, yeah, some people look at it similar to incubators. Incubators are usually, government entities or nonprofits that operate them. And while we're a for-profit business, we can help somebody really scale, like Mitch talked about in his first segment. So, someone that has an idea can come to us and start with a business address. They can pay us less than $100 a month and get a registered physical address that they can register with Google My Business or using their marketing materials, and it will show this beautiful 3-story building on Airport Road as their business location. So we have people start with that. Sometimes then they'll move into the 24/7 access for co-working. Again, less than $100 a month. They can come in here and work anytime they want to. Then people will often migrate up, as Vince talked about, use meeting room space. I see our attorneys that have offices here use a meeting room with their clients a lot. And then move on up to a fully furnished office or multiple offices. We have some people, and we've watched people scale up through that. So when you ask, do we have services we offer? We like to think of this as space as a service. You hear people talk about software as a service. We have kind of space as a service. And so people show up, everything's ready for them: utilities, janitorial, Wi-Fi, Starbucks coffee. They don't have to think about any of that, but just show up with a laptop and a cell phone and get to work.
I love it. So in addition to, of course, Mississippi Small Business Development Centers, do you provide any type of business development training there at your business?
Well, we haven't done that in a formal way. We've done that in a real informal way. I think back to a client, a member, as we call our clients members. We say they're part of our ohana, part of our family. Guy that we offered some unpaid consulting to a few months back. He really wanted some ideas on how to optimize his pricing to make sure that he was right in the middle of the market, not too low, not too high. We did the research for him, met with him, and shared that information. We had the time and resources to do that, and he didn't. He was so busy providing that service that he provided. And then we also helped work with him to coach him through some digital marketing. So we have a great full-time manager here, Adam Horlock. Adam worked with that member and showed him this is how you can spend an hour a week and have a digital marketing presence through social media at no cost to really raise your exposure level with potential customers. So those are some of the type of things that we do for folks to help them grow. And we know that if we help them grow and be successful, they are likely to be much more satisfied and a long-term member here.
Right. Mr. Vavernek, it's testimony period for you. Now, Now, when it comes down to it, have you seen your business grow while you've been at Office Evolution?
Oh, absolutely. One of the number one questions that I get from potential customers, and when I say potential customers, that would be someone looking to sell their business. They usually don't want to meet at their business location. And so I can schedule the conference room here, and then we can meet here. But also what I've seen grow organically here is meeting the other members. Cliff, Adam, and Angela are very proactive in introducing me to anyone that comes in the door. And, Cliff touched on it. I look at this as all inclusive. You ever been to an all inclusive resort, or you ever been on a cruise and you just show up with,
the food is already there, right?
All you have to do is sing karaoke right after dinner, and then you're good. So at Office Evolution, or OE, as I that's what I call it when I'm talking to people. The organic growth of meeting CPAs, centers of influence, as we call them in business. Everybody here has a network of centers of influence that can help them grow their business, and so my centers of influence is anyone that's either A, looking to buy a business, or B, looking to sell their business. So I can help either category, but Cliff is good about telling people, hey, have you met Vince? Hey, Vince, have you met so-and-so? This is what they do. It could be anyone from a virtual office massage therapist that's, working out of the virtual office. It could be a CPA, it could be a branding agency. It could be a home health agency. The list goes on and on and on. And so we even have a food delivery business working out of here that I didn't know until, like an Uber Eats, but it's not Uber Eats. It's something else. It's called Take a Break. And so Take a Break, you can order it, they'll deliver your food. And so I use them quite a bit, especially for during COVID. My grandmother and my mother were at home, didn't want to get out. So, hey, you Take a Break. They'll deliver McAllister's to you. So not only am I helping, people expand their business, they're helping me. We're telling each other about each other's businesses. I even have, a broker agent that works with me rent an office space here because like Mitch said, a lot of people have side hustles. So he's an insurance agent. He's a real estate broker, but he's also a business broker. So again, trying to give you the Cliff Notes version here, Jermaine. I can talk a lot. I know we don't have a lot of time, but
I love it. Now, you did mention COVID-19 inside of that when you were talking about Take a Break. When it comes down to the pandemic, has that affected Trans World in any way?
So great question. And before we got on here, I was just reading the Biz Buy Sell 2021 report. And so Mitch touched on this again. Business owners that experienced the pandemic that were near retirement. So 80% of your businesses in America, small businesses, are owned by baby boomers. And so we all know what that category is. That means they're nearing retirement. And so if they don't have a legacy plan, if they don't have children to take over their business, and they don't have an exit strategy, well, the pandemic pushed them to stress. We all were stressed. Everybody was stressed. Mm-hmm. So we actually saw an uptick in seller activity. And then we saw an uptick with buyer cash sitting on the sidelines because, the stock market's been up and down. We've been on a nice little run. Now it's kind of dipping and going. So people really don't know what they want to do with their money. They're tired. No offense to corporate America, but a lot of people are tired of it. Whether it's a mandate or whether it's working from home and their kids are driving them crazy, or whether they're near retirement, it's either they want to buy or they want to sell. And so the pandemic has done nothing but create more awareness about entrepreneurship. And what a great country that we live in, that you can, decide to leave your job and start your own business in America, but not only in America, but Mississippi. So I'm not just a business broker selling a business. I'm selling Mississippi. I'm a representative of this state. And one of the things that I sell about Mississippi businesses is we have, number one, you can live here cheaper than you can live in California as far as real estate. However, we know real estate's high here to us. The cost of living is lower. It's safe. We have great schools. We have great churches. Even though we do have state income tax, we're unlike Texas, we're unlike Florida, but we have state income tax, but it's lower. Our property taxes are lower, and our homeowners policies are fairly lower in premiums. So you can live here, operate a business in Mississippi, and also have less competition. Most people don't understand that. You go to Dallas, you go to Orlando, Florida, and you've got more competition than you can shake a stick at. But you come to Jackson, Mississippi, and you've got a niche, or you go to Oxford, you go to Starkville, you go to the coast. You can form a great business with low levels of competition and rise way quicker in Mississippi than you can in major markets.
I believe that. I really do. Mr. Osborne, when it comes down to the pandemic as a whole for Office of Evolution, have you noticed any kind of issue with the pandemic and how you've been running your business?
Well, yes, we opened in June of 2020, and everybody remembers that was right after things started shutting down. And so we were a little slow initially, the first few months. And then I don't want to ignore the tragedy that happened to a lot of small businesses. I mean, many small businesses could not cope in that challenging environment and failed. And I have ultimate sympathy for those investors and mom and pops that own those businesses. But we were fortunate in that because people were moving out of larger office centers and either trying to work from home and finding that didn't work, or maybe starting a new business because the company they worked for did not need them on board at that time, we actually grew faster than we had anticipated and filled up. At times, we've been 100% full of offices. At times, we've had a short waiting list. And then at times, we've had, inventory offices available. We've really been surprised at how fast we grew in what we call the virtual memberships, that virtual business address I talked about earlier, the co-working, the meeting room. That has grown faster than we budgeted for and planned for, and we're very thankful for that.
Right. That's good stuff. Now, a lot of small businesses do not have the funds to take advantage of this unique business building model, but what advice would you offer to those who would like to get to this point?
Yeah, well, start small. I mean, I've had several small businesses over the course of my life, and start small. There are things that you can do for free. You can go you can take a meeting at the coffee shop for free. But when people are ready for something a little more than that, like I said, for under $100 a month, we can give them a private or semi-private, secure room with open desk, Wi-Fi, coffee, secured access, a block from the police department, low crime, come anytime you want to, and just start small with that, or start with the business address. Get your toes wet, kind of step into it a little at a time, and don't overextend yourself if you're starting a new small business.
Right. Love it. Love it all. Do you both want to just stay for our questions and answers at the end?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Please
absolutely.
stay. Please stay. We'll be doing questions and answers. I thank you, Mr. Cliff Osborne and Mr. Vince Vaverneck, for joining us on this discussion segment.
Thank you, Jermaine.
Thank you both. Now we're going to go into our final segment with our discussion. I'd like to introduce to our discussion Miss DeJeanette Grantham King. That's Dr. DeJeanette Grantham King. She is here with us for this discussion. Hi, Dr. Grantham King. Welcome to the discussion.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. I'd like to also introduce to the discussion Miss Belinda Stewart. She is with us as well. Hi, Miss Stewart.
Hi, great to be here.
It's great to have you. Now, Dr. DeJeanette Grantham King, she is the president and CEO of Advanced Environmental Consultants in Jackson, Mississippi. And Miss Belinda Stewart, she is of Belinda Stewart Architects in Eupora, Mississippi. Welcome you both to the discussion, and we'll just go ahead and jump right in for you both. And I'll start with Dr. Grantham King. If you can summarize your small business to our audience.
Sure. Thank you. Advanced Environmental Consultants is a full-service environmental firm. We're scientists. Our staff consists of project managers and scientists that we do everything just to kind of keep it brief. We consider ourselves the legal arm of the environment. We test soil, mold, asbestos, if there's any type of asbestos issues that you have, everything from the inspections to the abatement. The same with lead-based paint, dealing with children. Our client base is very broad, but we just think of the Environmental Protection Agency. we're the legal arm. Everything that we do, we must be licensed, and we follow the guidelines that are outlined by the Environmental Protection Agency and the Mississippi Department of Environmental Quality. The company, we're located in Jackson, downtown Jackson. This is our corporate headquarters. We do business all over the US because with what we do as scientists, the need is ever changing. And we try to stay abreast of the changing in the environment to make us be able to meet the needs of our clients.
Love it. A scientist. I love that. Now I'm just going to go ahead and do a follow-up question with you. Why did you want to start this business in Mississippi? What made you
I'm a
do that?
Mississippian. Even though I went to college in other places, this is home. Came out of corporate America, worked with the Department of Environmental Quality and EPA. You know when you know that it's time. So the last job that I had in corporate America, I told my husband, I said, I can do this. So after my last job in corporate America, I started Advanced Environmental Consultants. It's just evolved and everything was in place. The company that I was with was branch manager of a geotechnical engineering firm. And they decided to, this was in my mind a year ago before I actually did it. And they said, well, Dejanette, we're going to close the Jackson office. What do you think about starting your own firm? How great is that? So we walked around the office, we looked at furniture, and within 24 hours, my home became my office and everything evolved from there. I greeted people in my dining room, which was my conference room. And I had a blast. For 2 years, I was able to be mommy. Okay, and doing 8 to 5, I was not mommy. I had, we have to still maintain that professional environment. But that's how it started. I'm home. I know Mississippi. I know Mississippians. Although there was a transition coming out of corporate America as a female in a environmental field, male-dominated field, what can I do for others to want to trust doing business? I had the experience, had the know-how. So everything, and I did my own business cards at home, had all of the equipment, invested in what I felt that I needed, and just did letterheads, created my own business cards, just built a strong foundation and began to get certification, and everything grew from there. I went from working at home to an office building. And about 5 years ago, we purchased our own building.
Yay.
It has been an evolution, and it's been a great journey.
Vision and determination. I love it. I love it, Dr. Grantham King. Now, in transitioning to Miss Belinda Stewart, Miss Stewart, you as well, if you can summarize your small business and then just let us know why you decided on opening up in Mississippi.
Sure. Well, my business is an architectural practice, and we do architecture all over the Southeast now. We've gotten into federal contracts and are traveling more, but based here in the small town of Eupora, Mississippi. And we have a specialization in adaptive reuse of existing buildings, preservation of buildings when appropriate, and working on new construction, primarily special sort of high public use facilities. And we partner with engineering firms such as Dr. King's. We've partnered with her on some projects in the past, and other engineers around, primarily around Mississippi with our projects. We have 21 people. We're celebrating our 31st year, which still blows me away that we've been going this long. It's been a slow and very steady progression. Sort of like Dr. King, I started my business at home. I did my internship in North Carolina. I worked there for 5 years, working on getting licensed, and thought I would be there. And the longer I was away from Mississippi, the more I discovered that I missed it. And it taught me to appreciate things that I really couldn't see when I was in the middle of them. So I decided to come back home to my little hometown and just see, sort of as an experiment, if I could create a business here. And I started it in my grandmother's living room. I moved in with my grandmother so I would have no expenses, basically, and started in her living room. And I made a commitment that I would not borrow money to start my business. So it was just a slow build. But as I gained projects and gained money from those projects, about month 4 or 5, I rented a building, and a couple of months later, I hired someone to help me. And it's just been, a hire here and a hire there. And we own our own building, we actually have 2 buildings now for our office. And as I said, 21 people. And those people vary. They're architects, drafters, business administrators, preservation specialists for what we do, and interior designers in general. So we're able to do a fairly broad amount of work. We do a lot of work where we help people start their projects, where we help figure out what is the roadmap for doing this project, the early planning to just figure out if it's feasible or not. Can this building be saved? What will it take to do it? How much time, how much money, et cetera.
Right.
And in terms of Mississippi, when I was in North Carolina, I loved it there. And there was so much going on. And I was getting really involved in community and in planning and downtown development. And at some point I thought, why am I doing this in a place that's not home? And so I was able to gain a lot of knowledge that I could bring back with me and bring back to my hometown and to my home state and start using that in this practice.
Right.
Dr. I've made.
Right. Dr. Grantham King, I can see why you both are partners. One is an architect and the other one, of course, is coming in and making sure everything is okay within the building. But talk about the success of your business since you've opened it up, Dr. Grantham King, in the state.
I tend to, I don't know, success, sometimes the success can be defined by many things. I think I've always had a focus of during the early years, you have to be a positive thinker. What can I do? And even during the early years, I remember when I became certified with the Mississippi Department of Transportation, he came to my home, and initially he thought that my husband was the guy that was running the business, right? But I welcomed him. We went into the conference room and we sat and we chatted. He asked for specific files and I shared that with him. But one thing that he shared with me was, what's going to distinguish you between companies that have been established for a number of years? He said, as you introduce yourself, ask them just for 5 minutes of your time. And you make your pitch in 5 minutes. Now, during the early years, I had a focus of being focused for success, and I can do this, just being very positive. So I would give them 5 minutes. And if there was going to be 10 or 15, then that means they have questions for me. So one client that I went to, I had like a little speech. 5 minutes is not very long. And he says, is that it? And he says, you need to loosen up. And, I was trying to be professional and just, this is what I do. This is what I can provide. But, you learn. But I think that clients are always our focus. I treat clients like family. And I think success is when people know you that you may not know, and you get referrals because of recommendations. And someone told me years ago, it's important who you know, but more importantly, it's who knows you. So I think that the news media, we've gotten calls that want to do articles, and I'm a little shy about doing things like that because in business, you have to be very careful how you move. But I think that and giving back to the community, being environmental and doing what we do, we're very cognizant of the things that could affect children, babies. So we're very caring and we give back. And as a result of that, we get referrals. So I think that to answer your question about the success of our business, it's how we treat people. And I think it's how we treat people in hard work. We assist our clients. If it's something that they don't need, we tell them that's not necessarily needed, and we give recommendations. as to what they need. Even with Ms. Stewart, we're hired to do one thing, but as it transitions and there might be something else that they need that they may not be aware of. So we're there to make sure that we give the best product to our clients.
Right, right. Good stuff. Ms. Stewart, you as well. Can you talk about maybe the success of your business?
I think it's similar in a lot of ways to Dr. King's. It's really about what can the work of the projects that we do for community. We love to do work in downtowns or in maybe in communities that are on the rise, that need to be on the rise, so that sometimes a building that gets restored can help inspire so much around it. And when we see that kind of work, creating other work or inspiring others to do projects beside it, et cetera, that's a huge success to us. But it's also about people. We're always looking at, what impact does a building have on people? How does someone feel when they come in a building? How can you create things that make people feel good when they're using this building or working in this building? And it's also about the people we work with. One of the successes is that we have a very low turnover rate of employees, and we're like a big family that works together, and we really pride ourselves in that and giving everyone that opportunity to work together and to help these communities and
Good
clients.
stuff. Good stuff. Now, final question for you both. Ms. Stewart, I'll start with you first. What has been your most memorable customer service moment?
I think when buildings open and there's some sort of celebration, like dedication or, big open house kind of thing. And the most memorable one, we've been involved now for, almost 15 years in telling the story of Emmett Till in Tallahatchie County. And several years ago, the courtroom was finally restored back to what it looked like at the time of the trial there. And there was a big celebration and dedication of that courtroom. And it was standing room only, and many, many more people that couldn't even get in the room, and so many great speakers. But it was just one of the most meaningful, extraordinary things to be a part of. And just icing on the cake, Dorothy Moore came and sang Misty Blue in the courtroom. It was extraordinary.
Yes, I love that. I love that. That is a good moment. Dr. Grantham King, to you, and this is your final question as well. What advice maybe would you give to new and prospective small business owners?
I would say build a strong foundation. And what I mean by that is get your business plan, which Mr. Mcdowell has addressed that. It's so crucial. Business plan, banking, credit scores, all of the tools that you need. I think it's important to get those things in place before you actually start working, and specialize in what you're experiencing and what you're good at. And the biggest mistake, I think, for any business is if you ask them, well, what do you do? They say, I do everything. Nobody does everything. Okay. You need to specialize in a specific area that you know that you're good in and market that. And during those early years when you're starting, when you have a trade that you're really good at and you've marketed it, market those firms that have been in business for years and say, well, this is what we can do for you. Because during those early years, it's very difficult. And it takes a number of years actually to really see the benefit. So I think that as you're building that foundation, as you're strategizing, and in that business plan, as you're strategizing exactly what your needs are, start marketing yourself and seeing what firms are out there, and you can provide that service to them. Because I think it's so important as we build our business. I think it's important for us to bring others along with us. That's what America's about, right?
Right. Grab somebody and take them with you.
Take them with you.
Yes, I thank you both, Dr. Grantham King. That's Dr. Grantham King. Of course, again, she's president and CEO of Advanced Environmental Consultants in Jackson, Mississippi. And I thank you as well, Miss Belinda Stewart of Belinda Stewart Architects in Eupora, Mississippi. Of course, you're still going to be here for our Q&A. And now I'd like to turn that over to our very own Dr. Wren for our Q&A session.
Thank you, Jermaine. This has been such a great conversation. And for anyone wanting to start a business, grow their business, and receive free services, I heard a lot about from Mitch there, and from Cliff, what he's doing over at the office. What the services he's offering, those are great. There's just great opportunities for small businesses in Mississippi. So I do have a few questions that I've received in the chat. Small businesses, we've heard, are the heartbeat of Mississippi. And I've heard also that it's easy to do business in Mississippi. And there are great resources. We've heard great testimonials and tips. First of all, Mitch, this question is for you. You mentioned that during the pandemic, you all started created a 10-step workshop.
Yes.
Is that still available? Someone wants to know if it's available and where can they get it?
It is available. I would have to check the website and see if it's available online. If you want to, if the person would put their email address in the chat, I will follow up with them and I will get them the link to that video.
Okay, great. Thank you. The other question for you was an education piece. We have quite a few educators and education entities on the workshop here today. And I'm just going to read the question.
Okay.
Do you work with high schools or career and technical centers? Many students often have bright ideas that could be developed into businesses. So do you work with them? And I'm going to ask that question to you right now, but I also want to hear from the other speakers about students and the education piece that you all may offer, because I think I saw Dr. Grantham King offered at some point some education training for students. So can you answer that question, Mitch?
Yes, we do. We have a number of students. Sometimes they're high school students, college students that we work with on their business idea. One of the things is that if somebody is under the age of 18, there's some certain things that they can do and certain things that they can't do, and they may need for their parents to come in and assist with that. So, for example, if we're working with somebody and we get to the point where we say, okay, we need to go ahead and form a limited liability company. This person's ready to launch their business. Well, if they're under 18, they can't necessarily enter into that type of contract with the Secretary of State's office. So at that point, we get with the parent and help them navigate that particular process. But yeah, anybody that has a business idea, they can come in, we can get them assigned to a counselor. We kind of give them all the information and first steps. Again, we assist with writing out that business plan or that narrative. And then the big one, of course, is once you write the narrative, we'd like to get in and put everything to numbers to see if, number one, the business is going to cash flow. But number two, when we do that, we're also trying to provide some education and guidance on understanding the financial side of running a business, because that's probably the biggest thing that we see between people. Well, there's a couple of things. Number one, understanding, who you are, what you do, not being everything to everybody, understanding who your target market is, being able to, reach that target market. But one of the big things is understanding the financial side of your business. So yeah, it doesn't matter if it's junior high school, college, we work with everybody.
Great. So I think Jasmine has put your contact information in the chat. And for all of our panelists, it's in the chat as well. And there's a way to reach out to you there. Thank you for that answer. So Dr. Grantham King, am I wrong? And did I see somewhere you work with students, right?
Yes, we do. Actually, we hire interns during the summer. And what we're doing is developing soft skills, because there's what I've noticed throughout the years is many times our students master the subject matter, but they don't know how to apply the knowledge. So part of what we do during the summers is hire, and for us, it's in the sciences. We screen our clients in biology, chemistry, engineering, but we might take them out to just look at what we're doing, but not really hands-on, but just try to help them to create soft skills. Because what I found is so much they don't know. Now for higher education, K-12, kindergarten through 12th grade, we go to the schools and talk to the students. And remember when there used to be junior achievement,
Mhm.
and there's no longer junior achievement, but we were very active in going to schools and developing things for the students, and they loved it. But so since that no longer exists, it would have to be a relationship that we would have to have with that particular school, but it's really needed, and we really, really promote that, and certainly internships during the summer.
Absolutely. I used to be a junior achievement volunteer, so I remember that program.
Yes.
So I'll ask, there's another question. If I don't know if Ms. Stewart or Vince or Cliff, you all do any type of education or training with students, but there's a question on the floor about apprenticeships. And Dr. Grantham King mentioned internships. Do either of you offer that in your particular businesses or work with students in your community?
Oh, we do. We offer internships during the summer, typically to people who are in college becoming an architect or an interior designer. Typically, we also we typically bring in a high school student to work after school each year, and we'd love for it to be someone who's interested in the field so they can come in and learn a bit. So we do that locally. We also go to high school career fairs in the area and just tell what an architect does, and I'll answer questions about that. But we love having interns. We learn as much from them as they learn from us.
Absolutely. Great. Cliff, did you want to chime in on that?
No, I was just going to say, because we're a business center and because we have the 24/7 access, we're not really set up for minors to be members here. So the members are adults, but we're starting to work with some of the universities in the state, and that's a lot of fun, and helping them figure out how to promote to their entrepreneur-minded students all the ways that they can grow a business. We're working with a couple of universities right now. We hope to be able to talk about that pretty soon and share some of that news.
Great, that is good to hear. Thank you. You guys have great partners there. Vince, I have this question for you. At what point will someone know that their business is ready for a franchise?
Great question. Not every business is franchisable. And so, being aware of what to look for if their business is franchisable is a couple of different things. Number one, you all have all frequented most of the successful franchises in America, and you know what a good franchise looks like. You, number one, have to have consistency. So whether you're going to a franchise in Jackson or you're going to a franchise in Birmingham, you want to have the same experience. So you have to have the consistency across your brand. So if you just have one location and you want a franchise, our encouragement is, number one, you need to have at least 12 months under your belt to even do a look back and see exactly how successful have you been. It's not all about the numbers. Of course, you do need to have successful sales, but you need to have systems in place. And that's what a franchise offers. A franchisor has to have a good leader. So you and myself would not go buy into a franchise system if the leader was not a good leader, because they're selling their brand, but they're also selling their leadership, their support, and their network, along with their support systems. So in franchising, you hear follow the system, follow the system, follow the system. The great franchises have a system for you to follow. And so they need to develop whatever that operating process is, that system is, but they also need to have raving fans. They need to have these loyal fans that just tell everybody about them. You all have those certain brands that you love to frequent. And why is it that you love to go there? What is it about those things? Dr. King talked about what's going to separate you. We call it differentiators. What's your differentiator? What's the difference between you and your competition? And just a little sidebar here, Dr. King, we've never formally met, but you said it's all about who knows you. And I was in the environmental business prior to business brokerage. I owned a ServPro franchise for 13 years. And you're well known in that industry. You're very well thought of. And I knew of you. I never got a chance to work with you because I was a certified mold remediation, remediator in ServPro. And so I own the Brandon locations, but I've heard about you and just wanted to say that real quick because she made a comment about who knows you. And I knew her. I just never formally met her. So nice to finally meet you, Dr. King.
Nice to meet you.
And a quick follow-up, Vince, what's the minimum cost for a franchise or for someone who is interested? Or does that vary by your type of business?
Okay, are we talking about someone to buy a franchise or are we talking about someone looking to franchise their business?
Invest.
Okay, so it's all across the board.
Well, then it says buy, I think.
Okay.
To buy a franchise, yes.
To buy a franchise, it depends on which segment that you're looking at. And it depends on, if we're talking about a startup, they can range from anywhere to, most franchise fees are anywhere from $30,000 to $50,000 for the franchise fee. And then there is the training, and then there is the equipment. So I would say you're going to need anywhere to start out at least around $85,000. That doesn't mean you got to have $85,000 in cash, but I would say a good starting point is going to be a little bit below 100 all in, because a franchise or makes their money by charging a franchise fee when someone buys one. And those range from anywhere from 30 to upwards. They can go up.
Great. Thank you for that. I have one last question that I'm going to ask, since I fuddled your business name, Cliff. Office Evolution. That's what it is. Office Evolution. And so I heard Vince did a great job in describing all of the amenities and benefits of working and being a part of Office Evolution. Professional environment, accommodating, convenience, conference rooms, online bookings, and etc. Highly technically equipped. Their referrals is very collaborative. And I just think those are great opportunities for a small business who's ready to come and utilize or rent, be a tenant, and also form all these other partnerships within there, meet other people who can help them and build on their business. So I just wanted to list those amenities and benefits of Office Evolution because it's a great opportunity here in Mississippi. Did he miss anything that he needed to add to that list?
No, I mean, we're a franchise, and I think the corporate office, they want to hire him to do a commercial. Such a good job of explaining it. But I think 4 years ago, I was watching CBS Sunday Morning, and they were talking about this flex office model. And I called my wife, Angela, into the living room. I said, watch this with me. This seems so exciting that people could get just as much office as they need, just as much as they're able to pay for by the day, week, month, pick a different size. We started exploring all the different options that were out there and ended up really loving the Office Evolution culture and the people at the corporate office. But the thing that we couldn't envision as franchise owners at that time, I thought we were going to be able to help small businesses and entrepreneurs grow. I didn't realize just how much networking and how much exciting collaboration would be there. I'm a serial entrepreneur. This is not my first business. And to be around other people like Vince and our other members here, I could start naming a dozen of them that come to mind immediately. Listen to them talk about their businesses, share ideas. They actually get to use each other as kind of their own board of advisors for free. They can walk down the hall and knock on someone's door who's an expert at marketing or some type of healthcare service. And we just didn't really envision how robust that would be and how much satisfaction we get from that experience.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, thank you. I know Vince mentioned take a break. I know we have DoorDash, Uber Eats, Waiter, and all these other things, but it sounds like Take a Break is a Mississippi business, right?
They are, and they have a website and an app available for people to utilize their services.
Okay, well, I don't know who they are, but this is a plug for Take a Break. So let's try out let's shop local, okay?
Awesome.
So I've heard a lot from you all. We are very, very happy that we have had this conversation, and we hope that you've been able to help some small business owners and those folks who are thinking about going that route. One of the key things that I heard today, keywords, is people and customer service. And that's a big piece of what you all are doing. So I'm going to say thank you and turn it back over to Jasmine, because we do give away some good prizes after all this good information. So thank you very much.
All right, so here we go.
Okay, y'all, door prize time. These are our door prizes for today. We have 3 of them. The first one that you see to the left is an awesome Mpv Education portfolio. The one that was in the middle is an Mpv Education hat, and the one that was on the end is an Mpv Education book bag. You also get some extras with that. So let's go ahead and spin the wheel, Jasmine. Our first winner is Angela Osborne. Angela Osborne, you have won our first prize. Okay, Jasmine, we can go ahead with the second. We win. And now spin one more time, Jazz. That is just a spot. Katie Eves. Katie Eves, you have won door prize number 2. Everybody who wins door prizes, if you can email me your mailing address at the end of this, you will receive that door prize. Okay, for our final door prize, Jasmine, go ahead and spin the wheel. Our final door prize is Miss Paula Dace Nelson. Miss Paula Dace Nelson has won that final door prize. If you want a door prize today, you can send me your mailing address to my email. That's going to be Germaine, germaine.flood@mpbonline.org. I hope you enjoy your prize, and we thank you all for joining us here. Now I will turn this back over to Jasmine to close us out.
All right, we want to thank each and every one of you for participating today, and we thank our guest speaker and panelists. Of course, we do have announcements that we like to do at the end, and so I want to invite you all to come back. We will have Workforce Wednesday on March 16, 2022, and we'll be here at the same time. You can register at getting.mpbonline.org is the website to register. Also, we want to let you know that if you miss any Workforce Wednesday, they all are housed on that website as well, and you can go back and watch some of those recordings. And so just to kind of get updated of what we've been doing, what we plan to do, and what we've done in the past, we'd like for you all to stay connected with us and view those recordings on Workforce Wednesday. This Workforce Wednesday will also be available on that website. Of course, we do have our Mpv Education Newsletter. And this is another way to stay connected with Mississippi Public Broadcasting Education Department and all the things that we do. And all you have to do is go to that same website, gettingtowork.mpbonline.org, and register for that newsletter, and also come to your phone so that you can stay abreast with us and all the happenings that we have at the Mpv Education Department. And of course, we want you to stay connected with us. So to learn more, this is our website, education.mpbonline.org. And you can also connect with us through Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We would like to thank each and every one of you for joining us today, and we hope to see you again in March. Have a great afternoon.